Hello and welcome to the next video of our Checkpoint Web series. In today's video, we will talk about security internal communication, and we will try to establish SIC and capture the traffic during the first time when a cluster is created in Smart Console. Also, we will see what ports are used during SIC initialization, and then we will try to reset the SIC and install policy after that. So right now we can see the first time configuration wizard again, and that's the time when we first enter the activation key. And this is the key which will be used by security management server to establish a security communication to firewalls in our web. So let's enter the security key. We enter the key also on the second firewall. And then we need to complete first time configuration wizard. After the first time configuration wizard is finished, we can configure the interfaces of the firewalls, and then we will go to the Smart Console and establish secure internal communication between Smart Manager and the firewalls. Now let's double check the IP addresses of both firewalls and that we can add these firewalls to Smart Console. So we have management, we have the external interface, we have sync interface. Same, we have management, we have the external interface, and we have the sync interface, so it looks good. Before adding new firewalls to Smart Console, let's start packet capture on gateway number 1 and also on gateway number 2. And in this packet capture, we will try to catch all the traffic related to the SIC initialization from the smart management perspective. We will use just TCP dump. And we will catch all the traffic from the smart management server to the file. Like this. And we will use exactly the same command but with a different file name on gateway number 2. And now we can open Smart Console. And let's log in. In the Smart Console, we need to create a new cluster again. It is cluster excellent high availability. Now we need to add a new cluster members. And here we need to enter the security key, which we entered during the first time configuration wizard, and we can initialize. So trust is established. We can click OK. Let's add second gateway. And the activation key. And trust is established. We click OK. And at this point, let's stop the captures. So we have about 300 packets on gateway number 2 and about 400 packets on gateway number 1. So that's our capture here and here. We need to download the captures. For this, we will use SIC A. Let's connect to gateway number 1. We have this SIC init. And now we can close. Let's connect to gateway number 2. And that's the file. Let's take a look what we have inside the captures. But before that, we will need to complete the process of creating the cluster. So let's go back to Smart Console. Let's click Next. And this interface is the sync interface. So we select this as primary sync. This is a cluster interface, and it represents the cluster IP 16.1.1. This is a management, but for us it also will be the cluster IP 43.5. We can click Next and finish. Now we can publish. And after publishing, we need to install policy. So we go to security policies. The only thing I do, I will change everything to accept and log. Publish again. And now install. Okay, installation is successful. We can close. The next step will be finally to open the capture files. So let's start from gateway number 1. When we open the capture, we see that there are plenty of packets. So what's exactly going on? We can go to statistics and then conversations, and then we have TCP conversations. And there are a number of ports that are talking during this SIC initialization. As you can see, those are checkpoint management ports, and to find out what exactly going on, we will need the help from one of the secure knowledge articles, and that's an article SK52421. Here we have description of all the TCP ports used by checkpoint firewalls and checkpoint smart management servers. In the capture, we can take a look that the very first communication between the security gateway and smart management server is by port 18211. So let's check what is it. It's 18211. And this is internal certificate authority push. And this service is actually pushing the certificate from the smart management server to the security gateways. So this TCP flow, if we make follow TCP stream and close, that's actually the process of pushing the SIC certificate from smart management server to the security gateway. Here we can find the client hello and the server hello. In the client hello, we can expand the data and see what is the cipher suits used for the client hello, and the proposal contains more secure and less secure ciphers. And if we go to the server hello, then we will see that the cipher suit which is actually used for the encryption is this one. So that's not so bad. We have the key exchange, and then we have data which we cannot see because we cannot decrypt the data. Now we can go to the next TCP session established between gateway and smart manager. It is the session by port 18191. Let's go back to the SK and see that 80.1.1 is used for test SIC status. So pretty much we can be sure that this TCP session is to check the SIC status after initialization. So, and as we know, the trust was successfully established, so all good. Again, server hello, client hello is present, and exchange of some encrypted data is happening. Then we can go to the next SYN packet, and this SYN packet is at the same port. Okay, scroll down a little bit. Then we have 18192. So let's see what is it. 18192. This is the monitoring. So, and also another TCP stream between firewall and smart manager. If we scroll down, we have another SYN and the same port. Now we have the port 256. I'm pretty sure it is logging. 256. Yes, it is FWD. Okay, let's scroll down after that. Again, 192 and 256 ports. And so on. And here is the ARPA request for the gateway number 2 when we start initializing SIC for the gateway number 2. As you see, most of the traffic after the SIC initialization related to the firewall monitoring, because after SIC was initialized, smart managers start to check in what's going on with the security gateway and trying to monitor it. Also, the port 256 in the packet capture states that there is some FWD communication already happening even before we finished creating the cluster and even before we published and installed the policy. Let's open another capture that we did, the capture for the gateway number 2. And let's just double check what we have in the conversations. So in the conversations, we have the same set of ports. The next thing I want to check is the SIC status on the firewall and on the smart management server. So how can we do that? Let's close the packet captures. Okay, and now we can log into gateway number 1, for example. The command to check the SIC status on the firewall is cpconfig SIC state, and it will just tell us that okay, trust is established. From the Smart Manager perspective, we will need to go to the gateways and servers. Here, we need to click Edit. Then we can test the communication and click Test SIC status. And now we see it is communicating. This is not everything that you can check about the SIC certificate. The other thing, you can go to the gateway and you can do a specific search to find out the SIC certificate location in the file system. To do so, you will need to search registry for specific string. So it is CPDIR registry, then that's the registry data, and then we grep for the SIC, and -a means that we also would like to see 5 strings after the first found SIC string. So if we click enter, then we see okay, that's the SIC certificate location. And if you want, you can download the SIC certificate and see what's inside. The same can be done on the management server. So let's try to log in, and we log into the management server. We need to switch to expert mode. Okay. And we don't need the location. Instead, we need the search string itself, like this. And also we also have the SIC certificate for the management server, and it's called CP management, and that's for the web SMS. And here is the location of the SIC certificate on the management server. There is another interesting command to see a little bit more about certificates on the management server. This command uses the local certificate authority. It is CA client, and then it is lscert, and then we check status for the valid certificates, and the type of the certificate should be SIC certificate. And if we tap on enter, we see that we have a number of SIC certificates. We have the subject for the web SMS, subject for the web gateway, and web gateway number 2, and also we have a couple of CP management certificates. The reason why we may need this command is because sometimes we may have a problem with the pushing, let's say, policy or monitoring a gateway because it has a non-valid SIC certificate. And in this case, the first thing we would like to check if the certificate is valid on the management side, and this command exactly is needed for this purpose, because when the validity period ends, and actually even before that, Smart Management Server will reissue the SIC certificates for itself, and it will use the new certificate, and it is absolutely transparent process for a security administrator. But from very rare occurrences, this process fails for some reason, and you may have non-valid certificate on the management side. And in this case, you will not be able to even reset SIC certificate on the gateway to fix the problem. So this command may be very useful in this case. Let's try to reset SIC on the firewall, and then reset the SIC from the Smart Management perspective, and then after this we will install policy again to confirm that security internal communication is working. To start the SIC reset for the firewall, we need to log into this firewall, and when we log into the firewall, we need to use cpconfig. In the cpconfig, we have the specific point to secure internal communication reset, so we can tap number 5. and it asks us if we would like to reinitialize communication. We press yes, we want, and then there is a next warning that to finish the process we will need to do cp stop and then cp start, and then we click yes, we sure. We need to enter the activation key. It may be any activation key, maybe the same, maybe the new one. And then we can exit. Now we have the process of cp stop, and then it will be cp start. At the same time, failover happens because firewall cannot process any traffic when there is no checkpoint processes running. You can log into the second firewall and do cphapro start command. And here we see that the gateway number 1 is now lost and the gateway number 2 is now active with a warning. Let's wait a little bit until the cp stop, cp start process is complete. Okay, let's see what cp processes how it was started and was it successful. It is cpwd admin list command, and we see that everything is established. We see the time when it was established. It was established just recently. And now what we can also check, we can check the command for the SIC status on the firewall. So let's see what it is. It is cpconfig state and initialized, but trust was not established. Okay, so also if we do fw stat, we will see that it is initial policy. So we were not able to fetch the standard policy that we had before from the smart manager, so the firewall ended up with the initial policy. To finish the process, we go here, we click edit, and communication, and then we click on reset and click yes. We need to enter the same activation key as we entered on the firewall, and we click initialize. Now we have trust established. We can close, click OK, OK. Let's double check what is the SIC state. Now the trust is established. FW start still should show us that we have initial policy because we didn't do FW fetch and we didn't install the policy. So here we can go and publish. And after the publish, we will install policy. So policy installation is successful, and now we can close. After some time, Smart Console renewed the status of the gateway. Now we see all the green check marks. Means that the trust was reestablished and policy push was successful. Now Smart Manager can successfully communicate with the security gateway. This is the end of our video about secure internal communication on checkpoint firewalls. And as always, thank you for watching.